Hey guys, so today I'm talking about dating with um, D.I.D, which is dissociative identity disorder. Um, yeah, so I haven't really had much experience dating with this disorder until about a year ago, and then that didn't work out that well because I felt like that he was just using me, kind of, which sounds kind of sad, but I think that's the truth because um, especially when your like attachment to your parents when you were a kid was um, like disrupted, and from that like sexual abuse, because that's what my dad did to me, um, that it's not going to be a good relationship because you're going to basically attach to your boyfriend unless that is worked on in therapy. And I was not going to my therapist when I was in this relationship. So that's a clue that I was like hiding my real self and trying to be with him and be how he wanted me to be and just kind of shut up, and keep it kind of quiet. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy that the relationship is over because I was very trapped and I felt like I couldn't be myself in it. Um, but we are still friends and we probably won't like see each other that much, but um, I don't hate him anymore, I don't think, which is good. Um, I still respect him and I think he still respects me, which is good. Um, Not that I'll ever really see him again. Um, yeah, so then dating, is it possible with D.I.D? I don't know if it is possible. I mean, I like to think that people can date or get married or be with someone when they have this disorder, but actually, for one, if you're not on your medication, I think that could be really hard. I'm not taking any medication right now because I personally tried something else that I thought would work instead of medication, but it's not really working. Um, I don't know how well it's working. Yeah, so I think if you were to date someone, especially like women with DID, I think if you were to date someone, um, it would have to be the right person if you know that he is like really kind and accepting and likes you like no matter what. Like when you are at your like you can be vulnerable with him, you can go to counseling and come back and be with him, and he doesn't make you feel like doesn't give you bad messages, like that's for sure. Because with me, when I was at my most low self-esteem, that's when I found this boyfriend, and that's just like a sign that things are not working, and I need to get out of there and be with someone that likes me when I'm like my most confident, because after I come from counseling, I'm my most confident because I know that all those things that were done to me in the past belongs to um, my family and my abusers and not me. Like that's not something that is just wrong with me. Um, and that's how he made me feel. Sometimes like there was just something wrong with me inside and that I'm not enough, and I literally struggle with that feeling like my whole life, that I'm not enough because of what was done to me as a kid. And for anyone watching this, I just want to let you know that you are enough. If you've had childhood sexual abuse, if your parents abuse you, that there's a thing that's like reflection, like it's like, and once you start going to therapy, you'll understand it's like your real self is not reflected within those people. You'll find your real self and your true like goodness, when you go and take care of yourself and you do more things that reflect the real you rather than um, just keep listening to those messages of how you weren't good enough from your parents. And because if you believe that, it will just keep coming in and getting worse. But if you stay in therapy, then you have a good mirror for yourself, and your therapist will mirror back that you are a good person and you deserve good things, and that was just your parents' mistakes. So I think that's really important because you need to have that good self-image to be able to go to therapy, or to be able to be with a partner, because then you know that you're enough inside, and that will not be like, you will not get into some sort of like bad relationship when you know that you're enough. So I think people with DID should be very like wary of that, because of the intense abuse and attachment styles that happens when you are abused like that. So because that will always creep up on you. You think you've healed things from your childhood, but you haven't, because I stopped going to counseling for a year and tried working, and that did not work. So it will come back to you, for sure. Like, even if you think you've been in lots of therapy for years, just stay in it. That's my advice too, if you ever want to be healthy enough to be with someone, and or just to even be independent. It doesn't have to be dating. Yeah, and journaling is really good too, and also going to the gym, I find, helps me. I haven't really been going, but it's another thing that I should be doing. But it is hard when you're depressed, and sometimes when one of your personalities decides to not take medication, it can be really hard. But I'm actually happy that I don't take medication sometimes. Yeah. And I don't know that, I think the majority of people with DID, I don't know if they ever do date anyone. I mean, I'm sure I've seen videos where people are dating people, but I think it just depends, like, what your personalities feel comfortable with, and you just have to be like functioning to a certain degree, I guess. Some people are too sick with it, because right now is like a hard time for me, but I think I'll get over it once I go to school. I think it's just when I stop going to my therapy and I stop being independent, I think that's really the problem, because then I sit and worry about things, and my anxiety gets worse, and then I worry about money, and then that gets worse, and yeah. But definitely, like, hiding your real self in a relationship is not like good, because my boyfriend, and he also, like, I didn't sleep when I was with him, and that's not good. I think that was basically just asking one of the personalities to come out, like, with him. And he did remind me of, like, one of my kid personalities that I have, because people with DID, they have kid personalities. And that really came out with him, because some of them are meant for, like, like sexual things, I would think. But I actually have met some, like, nice, like, guys who I think are actually, like, very nice, and like functioning, and like just a lot nicer than him in some ways. So maybe eventually I'll be with someone, but I mean, probably not. Yeah, but definitely, like, living with this is still very hard for me. And I'm trying to go to school and get my undergrad in psychology. That's kind of my main, like, focus, so that I can become a therapist, because I want to help people the way, like, help them get out of really bad situations, because I know what it's like to be in really, really bad situations, and struggle with really bad depression and hopelessness and all that kind of stuff. So, and my advice to them would just be keep going to therapy, if I was counseling people. Yeah, because it does help. It might not seem like it helps, but it really helps with your confidence. And I think that's a huge thing, because, like, there's so many ways that you could just start feeling bad about yourself, especially with this condition, because you could think that the personalities are your fault, or all these things. I mean, and I find with this condition it's very easy to get like start to be vulnerable again, and because you have kid personalities, I feel like people can take advantage of you too, and that's not okay. So you have to be strong because, or even if you want a good life for yourself, you have to just like be strong and, you know, like for your own system, like for your own, like for all of you, like just have to, you know, go to school or just, you know, just function, because sometimes like my personalities don't let me work, and that's fine because I don't want to work. Sometimes I would rather be opening my own business, because I believe, one, I'm going to make more money that way, and two, I'll be much more ahead of things if I'm the one doing the hiring and doing the counseling and stuff, because then I can make more money that way. That's what I think. But yeah, definitely, like, and that's the thing that my past boyfriend made me feel upset about, that I'm not able to work at like McDonald's for $12 an hour. But I mean, I did try working at a minimum wage job and felt like shit, didn't sleep, like didn't go to the gym, couldn't do anything. So, but it was for a year actually, so that was longer than I thought it would have been. But and then I met him, so I don't think that was even a good idea, because I met him, and I wish I could take it back. But right now I'm just focusing on getting my counseling degree and my undergrad in school, and yeah, and I'm not going to the school that I really wanted to go to, because I'm kind of avoiding the city that I lived in, from a lot of issues. Like my family lives there, and there's just a whole bunch of things. So kind of leaving and going to another college that's kind of farther away. Yeah. So the days do get kind of hard when you're not working with D.I.D, because there's not much to do, and sometimes the more time I have to dissociate, the worse it is. But I do go to the gym usually in the mornings, and that helps me. And school's not long from now, so I mean, I'll have that to do. But it's just that I feel like my personalities won't let me work, and that's fine, because people get fired from work, and you could be no place to live. You could be on the street, so I don't really think that's a good idea either. Yeah, but definitely, and also when I'm working, I find I'm not staying in my counseling. I can't fit working and counseling in at the same time. And I feel like it should be a personal choice too, because my family like did pressure me to work in the past, and that's not something that, it's not their decision, it's my decision and what I think is best for me. And if I'm planning to make a lot of money one day from a counseling business, then I think that's fine. It's just I never really wanted to work at McDonald's. It's just not my, or any kind of place like that. It's just not my thing. I find it like a waste of time, actually. If you're not getting paid that much, if you don't have any friends there, I just don't see the point for working for that little money. So yeah, and yeah, I would say tips for people too. With this, I know someone else in this other channel said, yeah, write in a journal. Write in a journal. Go to the gym is another one that helps me. Stay in counseling. Try to be positive if you can. And then even if you're angry, because this is the thing, I have a lot of anger from what people have done to me, of course, and a lot of people with D.I.D, I'm sure you have a lot of anger towards your abuser and stuff, but if you stay angry, then that's just going to hurt you. So, and you want, like, if you're angry, you want, like, you wish that anger could be directed back at the person who originally hurt you. Because if you stay angry, it's just going to hurt you, and you're not going to have a good life, and then the abuser is going to get what they want. So my advice is try to be positive for yourself. Do it for you, because you deserve, like, money and a good place to live one day. You know? Like, do it for you so that the abuser can just finally stop hurting you. You know? Because if you stand up for yourself, and create a good life for yourself, like a life that you want and where you're happy, then that abuse ends. But if you keep putting yourself down and keep doing that to yourself, then they win, and it's like you're still being abused from a kid because you're still letting those messages control you. So that's what I would say. And I try to tell myself that when I get upset, but obviously it's hard to do because I've had like much more trauma than just my D.I.D. I've had like haven't had a place to live. Because when I was fighting with my family, like some of my protective alters come out, and that's not good. And then I get into bad situations. But I think I've really like changed since then because I go to the gym and try to help. It helps me stay positive, and I don't know why I stay positive sometimes, just because like in my opinion, it's like what else do I do? Because if I don't fight back, then the person who hurt me originally wins, which is my father. He's the one who did this to me. And if you see this, I hope you die. Not that he would, because I was just an object to him. Yeah, because that's where my kid personalities come from. Was from him. So in my opinion, if I just give up, then he wins and I don't win. So that's why I'm gonna get my own business one day, my own counseling practice, and then I'm gonna own a house and be successful, and then that will be my house. No one can take that house away from me, and it will be a nice house, and I can fill it with whatever I want, and that can be my life, and I'm taking care of my inner kid, so to speak. And that kid part of me isn't being hurt by any outside sources like boyfriends or people that just put you down, don't make you feel good enough. So I will always be there saying to myself, I am good enough, because I've just had enough of abuse from people. Like, people with D.I.D. have already been abused, obviously, from when they're under 8 years old. They don't need that now, in the present moment. So I would say getting an education is really important too. Even if you have to push past people because like in my family, there's some people that like they're just scared of like trying things like counseling and all that kind of stuff, and they deny the multiple personality too. So that's kind of just another thing. That's why I don't really talk to them. But yeah, don't listen to anyone if they say don't go to counseling. Like, don't listen to that. Go and tell people what you're dealing with, because if someone else feels like counseling isn't a good idea, then that's just their own insecurities. They're putting that onto you. So don't let that stop you from counseling. And yeah, because if you can build up your self-esteem, then you have a much better chance of not being abused again in the future. And that's like a really good lesson, I think, because that past dating relationship, really brought me down and kind of brought me back to the beginning of my recovery stages, because I didn't believe in myself and I became this victim. It's like, no, like, enough of that. I've already done my counseling, and I know that I am enough deep down, and no guy is going to make me feel that way, because it's not the truth. That's the truth from what my parents did to me. That is not the truth of my actual real self. And that's just the attachment to my abuser that's coming out, is what that is. And anyone who knows counseling would know that. Not his mother, though. His mother didn't think that. She just thought it was my fault or something, but that's not something I even want to go into. Yeah, but I would say stay positive for yourself, because then you have a better chance of just everything in life. Like getting better for yourself and attracting the right people, because you don't want people that are going to come into your life and make you feel like shit. Like, you have to be strong, and I've realized that you know, there are people to help you in this world, but, you know, mainly you've got yourself and you have to stand up for yourself. And that's really important to me, I think, especially because some of my family that I don't talk to as much, like, well, I am now because I need a place to live because of that abusive relationship. They like they won't stand up for you either. Like people will just kind of stand back and just kind of do whatever you want, like wait for you to decide. So, and they will continue to treat you like, yeah, people will treat you however you let them treat you. So if you don't stand up for yourself, then they're just gonna like keep walking all over you, you know, and treat you like a doormat. So that's kind of something that I don't believe in because I won't be treated that way by anyone. Yeah. And some of my personalities I feel like maybe would because, you know, they need to like just scared or like just don't want to say anything, but I kind of come out and say no, like I won't be treated that way. Yeah, so this is kind of video just on like how to one, cope with D.I.D a little bit, and then two, if you are gonna date someone, these are the things that I think you should do. Because don't let yourself fall into that like way of being like with your self-esteem, because I think that's very important. If you're not feeling good about yourself, don't let that get you into a bad situation. Okay, so I might make another video next week.